What's going on, everybody? My name is Zach Hartley. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to talk about how to find your next stock trade using chart lists. So I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you my basically weekly process of how I find my trades. So here is stockcharts.com. This is the platform I use, really simple. And when you sign up for a membership, you can start to create stock lists. So that's what I have here. That's basically a chart list of all the stocks that I like to follow and I like to watch. So the big thing here is you need to find companies that you're interested in, find companies that give you a bit of diversification, find companies that are actually good. Don't fill your entire chart list with a bunch of biotech spec stocks. Fill it with something that you're actually going to look at, that you're going to learn to be able to trade, that you're going to learn the patterns on, and that you're actually going to be able to manage. So I'm going to start out here and I'm going to show you exactly what I do. So every time I sit down and I start looking at my charts, the first thing I do is I look at the market. So the first four charts that I have here are all basically indexes. They show me what the market is doing. So as you can see, the NASDAQ right now is at an all-time high. The next one's the Dow Jones. It's not at an all-time high, but it is trading within a channel that I've highlighted here in blue and red. We've also got the MS World Index. This is basically the entire world minus the US. So still sort of a similar pattern as the Dow Jones Industrial. And then lastly, the S&P 500. 500 of the largest companies and most important companies in the United States. Very similar trading pattern to the Dow Jones. So the reason that I look at these four indexes first is because, one, it gives me a good idea of what tech is doing. It gives me a good idea of what the United States in general is doing. And with that world index, I get an idea of how the rest of the world is doing. So the idea here is start big and then work small. Figure out how the world's doing, how your country is doing, how your industry is doing, and then how the individual companies that you're interested in are doing. So that's the purpose of looking at these four different indexes. Now guys, real quick, if you're getting any value out of this, please consider subscribing to my channel. My entire goal is to help you make more money by learning different techniques and different tips for trading the stock market. So the only thing that's going to happen is you are going to make more money by subscribing. So please definitely check it out. So now that we have gone through our indexes, the big thing here is I have a list of about 30 different companies that we can look at, or that I look at on a weekly basis and I follow to try and figure out when I want to get in and when I want to get out. The reason that I try and keep 30 to 40 in here is because I can go through it in under an hour. I can look at every single chart and analyze it in under an hour. And that consistency of looking at the chart every single day or every couple of days lets me understand it better, lets me predict different trends, and lets me pick up on the different patterns that that individual stock portrays compared to other ones. So I'm going to start with Apple here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my entire list of about 30 stocks, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to perform my technical analysis. And when something interesting comes up or I see an opportunity, I'm going to stop the analysis and I'm going to highlight it to you and show you exactly what I'm looking at. So here we go. Right now we're looking at Apple. So first of all, when I look at Apple, I see, okay, we crossed over our all-time highs. I actually own Apple right now. It is in my portfolio and I'm doing extremely well on it. So I'm super happy with it. The couple things that I notice here is we've had 2 days of lower trading since our high, not a great sign. We also just came out of the overbought zone of the RSI. That is a huge sell indication. Our MACD is both the slow and the fast moving averages are very high compared to the last basically 6 months, and it looks like the faster moving average has just crossed over the slower moving average, which is also a sell signal. So one thing that we might consider doing tomorrow when the market opens is selling our Apple shares. So this is just the first stock that I'm looking at because it's AA. Steve Jobs did a good job of getting Apple up first on almost everybody's chart list. So that's the whole deal here. I am looking at Apple. I'm going to see where it opens tomorrow. If this MACD really separates and this continues to drop, I may look at getting out of Apple and locking in our profits on it because it's been a phenomenal trade so far. All right, on to the next one. So the idea here of what I'm doing with when I look at these stocks is I'm trying to start with the big picture, either 1 year, 2 year, or maybe 6 months in some cases, and then I'm zooming in to try and figure out when I want to get into the stock. I currently bought and sold options in Air Canada and we've done really well on them. I still own 8 contracts of $20 calls, I believe, on them. I'll have to double check that, but they're doing pretty good. We're in basically profit right now, so I'm going to hold on that. I don't see any sell indicators on Air Canada right now, so I'm going to keep moving on. I'm going to fast forward until I see something that I want to highlight to you, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this one is really interesting. This is Costco Wholesale Corp. They operate in Canada and the United States. They basically own a wholesale grocery store. Really fantastic company. They make most of their money on a membership instead of the actual gross profit on the products. They actually make most of the money on the membership. So really unique model. And with COVID and everything, I think they've probably done pretty good because everybody's buying more and more. So here's what I find really interesting is middle of February, almost close to the end of February, they hit an all-time high of about $325. They fell all the way down to $270 and then basically consolidated for a month. But that was a pretty big swing for Costco, $325 to $270, over a $50 price swing. Since then, the price has climbed all the way back up to that $325 level. And if you notice, this is really interesting. It is basically leveling off right around the same high as February. And this is almost 5 months later. So we are basically we have a double peak right now. We have the stock price that has come up to $325, come back down, and it is now sitting exactly at $325. So I'm going to be watching Costco very closely, because if it cannot break through the 325 330 level, then I'm going to have some concerns that it may fall back down to probably that 300 level, maybe 295. However, if it can break through that 330 level, I'm going to be very, very optimistic on this stock, and I'll probably be very long on it, because that seems like a very strong resistance level. Now, the technicals on this don't look fantastic. As you can see, we're coming out of the overbought zone in the RSI, and it looks like our MACD could be coming together and about to cross over based on the histogram as well. That looks like what it's going to be. So it's an interesting situation right now with Costco. Definitely not enough information or enough signals to make a 100% confirmation or a strong buy signal, but I'm definitely going to be watching it over the next little while. And if it continues to consolidate and we have the RSI come all the way down, the MACD crossover, and then it comes back up to that 325, 330 level, that is going to be the buy signal that I'm really looking for, and I will probably get in early at that point. But as of right now, the technicals don't justify it enough to get in early at this point, but I do like it on the breakout. So I'm going to continue on, and we'll see where we get. Okay, so here's an opportunity that I'm pretty interested in right now. This one could be a good trade for us. So if you look at TELUS, I'm going to annotate this real quick. And now if you go in here, you'll notice something. We've got this price level here that basically in April and May acted as resistance, and now it has acted as support. So you can see this price level of 1650. It bounces off this price level 1, 2, 3, 4 times almost, and it's supported at the $15 level basically twice. Since then, the price has bounced back up to 1850, come back down to 1650, and has bounced off the 1650 level twice. We're now at 1757. It looks like we have some separation in the MACD, and our RSI is headed upwards. So a couple of positive signs there. I like TELUS right now. I do think we could see some resistance here at this 1850 line. So there's about $1 of room there that I think you could pretty easily get on this one. It might not be a ton of room on it, but it could also be a great entry into the stock in case we do break through that 1850 line. So could be a good opportunity. I'm definitely gonna have my eye on this one, and we could be making a trade on it Monday morning. We'll see what else comes up though. I do want to look at this on a little bit of a larger scale and just see kind of what we were at a year ago, 2 years ago. So if you look at this stock, it was, oh wow, pre-COVID it was $20.50, and now we're at $17.57. So pretty easily this stock could run back up to about $20.50. Now that's about a 20, 30, 35% gain depending on where you get in. So it could be a good opportunity. Right now the technicals look strong. So gonna keep an eye on this one later on. Okay, so this is definitely an interesting trade. This is Zoom Video Communications, a company that's definitely done well since COVID hit. So over the last 6 months, they basically increased, and pretty steadily they've been bouncing off the moving average line as well as basically this trend line that I can draw pretty easily. So I like that because 1, 2, 3 very clear bounces off it as support, and now we're coming back down to approach it. The technicals look absolutely terrible right now, but that just means that it's almost ready for a turnaround. So we've got the RSI crossing below 50 right now. We've got the MACD basically doing a deep dive off the shallow end, and it looks like it's about to plummet. So what I'm really interested in here is, over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 days, especially this week coming up, basically, is it going to break through this support line, or is it going to bounce off? And is this going to be another opportunity for us to buy in, just like it was at 160, now at 246? You would have made almost 50% on your trade had you bought in at the beginning of June. So really amazing stock here, and based on this pattern. So I'm interested to see if it bounces off the support line. If it is, I'm probably going to be a buyer of Zoom. And that's it. So those are basically how I look at my stocks. I definitely add some more in, and I watch the news and see if there's any other opportunities that I want to look at. But on a day-to-day basis, those are the 20 to 30 different stocks that I look at. We identified a couple of different opportunities in there. And now going into Monday, I have an idea of what stocks I want to look at first, what stocks I probably want to trade first, and which industries I want to be in. So that's how I plan my trades. That's how I plan my week. And if you get any value out of this video, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out. And all it's going to do is help you make a little money. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.